Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Pakhtunkhwa Interesting Channel. I am Dr. Khurram Shaukat Yusufzai, host of Pakhtunkhwa Interesting Channel. Today I'm going to introduce you to a very interesting guest from Lahore. So let me introduce Mr. Athar to you. So, Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Athar.
Wa alaikum salam ji. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir, to Pakhtunkhwa and to the Pakhtunkhwa Interesting Channel. Can you introduce yourself to me, Mr. Athar?
My name is Athar Ijaz. I'm from Lahore, born and raised in Lahore. I did my education in Canada from McGill University, studied mechanical engineering. Actually, I did everything but study mechanical engineering in university. I was involved with a student design team where we used to build and race cars, first combustion race cars and then fully electric race cars. I came back to Pakistan about almost 2 years ago to join my family's business, and after working there for a while, I've started now my own organization or setup which does all sorts of things, all sorts of projects to do with engineering, with fabrication, with classic car restoration, with bicycles. So yes.
Bikes.
I haven't done motorbikes so far. I have a scooter that I have to restore, but bicycles, yes.
Excellent. So basically you are enthusiast of motor vehicles just like us, and that's very interesting. So can you introduce your organization about which you just talked?
Bespoke Machines is the name of the organization that I've started. We have an office in Pakistan and an office in Canada. We are currently working on a prototype design of a cheap, locally manufactured, as much as possible, because some parts we'll have to buy imported, but we'll try to make as much of it locally as possible so that we can target the market in Pakistan to sell a bicycle for cheap rather than the expensive bicycles which are currently available in the market.
Excellent. So you're into fabrication and manufacturing. Basically you're an entrepreneur and also you're designing and making things. So you have a complete workshop. Can you tell us about your workshop?
Yes. So I'm trained as a machinist on the lathe and the milling machine. I also have knowledge of CNC programming, so I can do that. I know a little bit of how to work a 3D printer as well. So all sorts of prototype machining is something I'm well versed in. Something I want to get into is mass production techniques such as casting and forging. But I have friends, mashallah, that have all of these facilities in their own respective factories. They build parts for OEMs, for automakers, for export. And so I would say Pakistan mein sab kuch banta hai. Everything is made here. We just need to find somebody who's willing to lend you the machine for a fair sum of money. Nobody works for free, but most people will work for a reasonable amount of money.
So you talked about computerized CNC machines and all these machines. What machines and equipment you have in your workshop?
Currently, we have a benchtop grinder, a drill press. I'm working on getting a lathe. Hand tools can do most of what a CNC can do without the precision. But we have access to all the aforementioned machines in the market.
You just told me before the interview that you have a original Mini, which you have restored, and we will show you the pictures of that. So basically your interest is in restoration of Mini, a British car. So can you tell us about that?
So there's a long story that goes back when I was in my O-levels, and my father promised me a car if I got a certain amount of A's. And when I did, I started looking for a Jeep, and my father was very happy. He said this to me, he admitted it later, that I thought you would build a Jeep, get sick of driving it in the city, and sell it in 6 months, and my investment would be recovered. But instead, my friends found me these Minis, and I picked one of them up, and that was back in 2007. And now I have 3 Minis that are in various stages of restoration. This particular Mini that I have brought with me on the rally from Lahore is the one that I restored with the help of my late father back in 2010. He imported all the parts for me, and I assembled the car at home. And then the car was painted in a matter of 2-3 days. So we assembled the whole car in less than 10 days. And since then, the car has been on the road. It has not been sidelined for any reason. And it's a very reliable driver. The only problem that I faced was that the battery would go flat because I was in Canada and the car would not get driven for months at a time. So every time I would come, recharge the battery, and it would start right away.
So improve the British technology.
Yes, I still have some problems with the electric. Sometimes my indicator lamps stop working, the turn stock signal stops working, and then my tachometer will come alive and go dead. My fuel gauge will stop working intermittently. But as long as I know that there's fuel in the tank, I don't need a gauge to tell me.
Excellent, excellent. The cars you made is for yourself, or you're going to sell it?
So far, I've only made cars for myself, and my family members, mashallah, were part of a big car-loving family. So there's plenty of cars around for me to be spending my time on. However, my mother is very cross with me because I'm wasting so much time on these cars. She wants me to do something bigger, which is where the bicycles come in. And currently we're working together on a project to establish a manufacturing facility and a production line for cheap bicycles.
So I think cheap bicycles is good, but your passion seems to be in the vehicles like cars. So we just discussed before the interview over lunch that what about making supercars in Pakistan? Can you say something about this passion of yours? Because I think you and me, because we are father and son, like your father and you are the son, you seem to be a passionate guy about motor vehicles. So what about building supercars in Pakistan?
I think there's a niche market, definitely a niche market that could be satisfied by such a venture, where you can make your own chassis, take your own engines, put them all together, tune them, and make one hell of a machine.
You did in university.
I did this in university. Every year we built a new prototype. Unfortunately, as far as I know, there's no way to register these new vehicles, these custom-built vehicles, even if there's one a year or 5
in
years.
Karachi you can.
How so?
Electric cars, and they have.
So there you go. I was involved with, my friend started a company in Canada, Tiger Motors, that is making the world's first fully electric snowmobile and the world's first fully electric jet ski watercraft. So you guys should check them out on their website.
Bespoke.
Not Bespoke. This is Tiger Motors. This is a Canadian company. It's
yours?
Not mine. It's my friends that started it. I helped them out when they were small. Now they're very much bigger than myself personally. My personal capacity is not that great. They have actually just gotten Series A funding or Series something funding, and now they're starting their own manufacturing setup in Montreal, in Canada.
Excellent, excellent. We would like to come to Lahore, although our channel is Pakhtunkhwa Interesting, but I think Mr. Athar would invite us to Lahore, and we would like to see these excellent facilities. This has piqued my imagination, and I hope he welcomes us to Lahore.
You're too kind. You're far too kind. You're too kind, sir. You're always welcome.
Thank you very much, sir, and it was pleasant interviewing you. And how did you feel coming here to Landi Kotal, Khyber district of Pakhtunkhwa? Now it is merged district, no more tribal area. So this is the first event happening of classic cars. So what would you tell people who would like to come here?
So I don't know the implications of the merger. I have a friend, Abdullah Khan. He's actually one of my partners in Canada.
When did it merge?
So yeah, it's already merged, and he worked on the FATA merger from the United Nations Development Program side. So he's been telling me it's now part of Pakhtunkhwa, yeah. But there's still a lot of work to be done apparently to integrate the administrations. Exactly. So my experience has been great. I haven't faced any difficulties whatsoever, and I believe we've been given a very nice welcome here by the hosts.
Nice food and nice scenery.
Yes, exactly. And the roads were beautiful. The drive out to Torkham was amazing. I think I thoroughly enjoyed driving my Mini hard.
Yeah.
Some people.
This Khyber Pass is legendary because of the great game. This is like the pathway through which the superpowers came over, and they lost over here. All of them lost there. They also called the graveyard of the empires, this area. So Khyber Pass is a special area. Alexander came from here. We just had a good briefing. Alexander, the Greeks, the Macedonians, then came the British, and after British, the Americans, Russians. They all lost.
Yeah, so this is something what people have been telling me. I think in the briefing they also mentioned it. It's an impenetrable wall, and I think just if you go back to the British, the sheer number of losses faced by the British attempting to penetrate this.
Yeah, they lost their war. That's why they have a special. Have you seen the 5 or 6 FF? They wear this red piping on the collars. That's because of this area.
Wow.
The British lost, and they only left one doctor, Dr. William Broyden. So that was in 1878, and because of this, the British superpower said that they lost this war. Then they sent a punitive mission under General Allen Cotton, and they punished the whole Afghanistan, burned the bazaars. But still, the humiliation was there. There is a narrow point called Ali Masjid from which you just passed. So their army were totally annihilated.
Yes.
Except one doctor to tell the story.
Wow.
So when you're passing Ali Masjid, you will see, just across the Shakai Fort, there is Ali Masjid, and there's the narrowest part, But that was 1878. Now there is F-16s and battles. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's a very humbling experience coming here and seeing the history, hearing about the significance of this region.
The Buddhist history over here is 2,000 year plus, like in BC, before even Jesus Christ's time, buildings we just saw on the way. And not many people know about this because previously it was tribal districts, as you said. So now it has opened up. So international, this is like gold mine of the history and, the Genghis Khan area, the Alexander area, buildings we just saw at the Michni Post, and that of the Ashoka period.
Yes.
That's now 2020, so it's like even before that, 100 years, 200 years, even before the 2020. So amazing. This should be open to the tourists, so it's not only cars, there is history.
Yes, definitely. You have to realize this is the old world. This is not the new world. I've been to places in Canada and the United States, and that's the new world. They don't have history that dates back this far, recorded or otherwise.
They don't have more than 500-600 years.
Exactly. So people don't realize that Pakistan and the subcontinent in general, in this region, has seen so much.
Yes, Indus Valley civilization is older than the pyramids, and this is part of the Indus civilization. Like if the river, because of the rooftop of the world, the Karakoram mountains, the snow melts and it comes down from the north and come down here, form the Indus River.
Yeah.
So this is called the Indus Valley. And the left tributaries is called the eastern tributaries are the Punjab, 5 tributaries. So Punjab is on the left. On the west are the western tributaries. So Afghanistan and Pakhtunkhwa in this area is on the western tributaries. So this is like opposite of Punjab. So basically this area, the Gandhara civilization, the Indus Valley civilization, is so old, and the people should come here. If some infrastructure is developed for tourism, they will go crazy.
Definitely, I agree that with infrastructure comes ease of travel and ease of exploration, and with that, people will follow.
Inshallah. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Athar. It was a pleasure talking to you. Likewise. With the entrepreneur and enterprising person. I wish you luck and welcome again for coming to Pakhtunkhwa.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.